Hello. Good morning, I think. Everyone, I would like to welcome our colleagues from CFDS, from Visipol UGM, and from Huawei, of course. And also, I would like to welcome our participants who are joining our sessions this morning, a class of AI with accounts with Huawei. Selamat pagi teman-teman. Selamat pagi peserta kelas AI with the Cause bersama Huawei Indonesia pagi hari ini. Terima kasih sekali sudah bergabung begitu. Join bersama kelas kecerdasan digital dan juga Huawei Indonesia di hari Sabtu ini. I think is there someone from Huawei that can join me here in the panelists? I see Bu Yuni is also already on camera, I think, Bu Yuni, and also we have several colleagues from Huawei. Halo, Bu Yuni.
Oh, I think we'll give to Pak Randall, yeah, maybe to open it for the class today. Pak Randall,
okay,
you're here,
yes.
right?
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Hello. Pak Randall, good morning.
Morning, yes. Hello, everyone. This is Randall. So thanks to all the participants to join our AI class. I hope everyone can join this class. And if you have any questions, please ask in the page, and we will give you answers. Thanks, everyone. So for today's presentation, our speaker is Ibu Debbie. She is our teacher for specialist for AI, and she has a very good experience for teaching AI. I hope she can give you a better AI experience in this course. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you, Pak Randall. Welcome, Bu Gabi, Pak Randall, and also Bu Yuni. I think, as we all know, that today is our first class of AI with a Cause with Huawei. So I would like to, okay, I will be, like a little bit like a moderator in this session. Teman-teman, pagi hari ini saya akan menjadi moderator atau ya nanti membantu karena kelas ini akan diadakan dalam bahasa Inggris, teman-teman. So this class will be delivered in English. But don't worry, jangan cemas. If you have any questions, jika teman-teman punya pertanyaan, you can just drop it in question and answer chat box. I think like below on your screen. And then there will be tutors, but Dea and friends, they will help us to translate the questions if you have any feedback, comments, or questions. So without wasting any more time, I would like to call Pak Randall to deliver the class today. Right, Pak Randall or Bu Gabi will be the mentors for today. Pak Randall, I think, yeah.
Gabi will be.
Oh, Bu Gabi. Okay, sorry. Okay, Bu Gabi.
Miss Gabi will. No, today I think Miss Gabi will deliver. No, today I think Miss Gabi will deliver.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Miss Gabi, the floor is yours. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Tita. Thank you. Thank you, Uni also. Yeah, thank you, Renda. All right, so hi everyone, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, good to see you here. All right, so maybe I can start to share my screen first. Before I begin, yeah. All right, so can you see my screen here? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it's okay.
Thank you very much. All right, so if like throughout the class, if let's say you suddenly you can't see my screen or you can't hear my voice, yeah, please let me know. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So this is my introduction here, and yeah, selamat pagi to everyone. So welcome to AI with a Cause bersama Huawei. Yeah. All right. So today is our first session. Right. Today is 30th of August. Right. So we start our session now from 9:30 a.m. right, Indonesia time, right, until we have the 2-hour session now, yeah. So our lunch break will be starting from 11:30, yeah, until 1 p.m. right. So we have a 1.5 hour for our lunch break, yeah. All right, and then yeah, this is my name here. So I would like to ask everyone, if possible, can you try to rename yourself? To your full name, because it will be easier for us to take the attendance, right? So if possible, yeah. So please kindly rename yourself, yeah. And yeah, my name is Gaby. All right, my name is Gaby, and this is my email. So if let's say after this you have any question, right? So you can actually drop your question to my email, right? So I'll be happy to help also. But yeah, throughout the whole session as well, if you have any question, right? So just feel free to drop your question in the chat box, like Tita said just now, right? Because we have our teams, right, to help you with it with your question. All right, yeah. So that will be a little bit introduction for the course, right? So yeah, so maybe before we start our session, yeah, I would like to yeah, just to tell you a little bit on our schedule, yeah. So our for this session, right? So we're going to have 7 weeks, right, for this event, right? So today will be our first week, right? So first week will be we'll discuss about a topic about the AI overview. Right, so for this first 2 hours, right, so we'll be talking about the AI overview, and then in the afternoon session, later on after lunch break, yeah, so we're going to look into the machine learning overview, right? So nothing very deep, right? Just a little bit overview about the machine learning, like the type of machine learning, the process of machine learning, right? What are the common algorithm about the machine learning, right? So these are all the things that we're going to look into today, right? So this will be the today topic. And then the rest of the day, right? So the next session, right? This will be the topic for the next session, and then the third week, fourth week, and so on, right? So these are all the topics that we're going to go through for this event, all right? So if you want to have this topic, I mean this information here, maybe you can find your email, right? I believe that the PIC already emailed you with all these details, yeah, the topics right here. All right, yeah, so I think that's all for the introduction part. So without further delay, yeah, so I think we can go into our first topic right here, which is the AI overview. All right, so yeah, for those who haven't get the material yet, please refer to your email, because I believe that the person in charge already emailed you, all right, related to the training material, right? So you can refer to your email and get the material, right, for your reference, okay? So that will be about the introduction, right? So, okay, now we just look into our first topic, which is the AI overview, yeah? So AI overview, we're going to cover some information, I mean some content right here, but due to the time constraint, yeah, we can't go to the full, we can't go for the full topics. We can't go for the full chapter. So over here, these are actually the full objective for this topic. Right, so we're going to understand about the basic concept of artificial intelligence, right? So what's AI actually? What makes AI AI? All right, so the basic concept of it, right? And then yeah, of course, a little bit on the AI technology and their development history. All right, so application technology and application fields of AI, right? Where we can apply AI and what the AI application technology that we can have nowadays, right? So we'll understand about it in this chapter. Right, so for the Huawei's AI development strategy right here, we're going to cover it in our last, I mean, maybe in our 5th week or 4th week like that. Yeah, so we're not going to look into it now, but week 4 or week 5. All right, so yeah, for this one here, we'll skip it first. All right, and lastly, yeah, this is very important. Okay, we're gonna know a little bit on the development trends of AI. Right, so in the future, how we can develop AI in a way where it can benefit more and more people. Right, so yeah, we're going to look into the development trends of AI as well. All right, yeah, so this will be the objective of this topics right here. Okay, so now first we look into the AI overview of AI overview. All right, so yeah, so we just look into the some introduction about the AI first, yeah. So what is AI? Okay, artificial intelligence, what is AI? Right, so I guess different people may have different answer to this question, right? So maybe people usually get to know AI idea from the news or from the movies. And of course, there are also a lot of the AI application in our daily life. Right, but sometimes because they are too common that people don't even notice that they are actually using the AI technology in their daily life. Right, for example, we are using the facial recognition system to unlock our mobile phone. All right, and when we go to the online shopping platform, we can see that they are the recommended product recommended by the AI system running at the back end. And like Facebook, when you scroll your Facebook, right, Facebook will always suggest friends who you might know, right? And when you wear your smartwatch, okay, that you wear every day, they will tell you about your heart rate, your sleeping quality, and so on. So all these are the very, very common AI applications that surround our daily living. And these are basically how the society see the AI every day. All right. So how about AI in the eye of professional? Okay, in the researcher's eye, yeah. So what is AI? All right. So you can see from here, Alan Turing, right, in the year of 1950, he proposed a very important question. That is, okay, can a machine think? Right? Can a machine think? Because I believe that there's a movie, I think, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, right? So he actually played a role as a Alan Turing. If you watched that movie before, yeah. So I recommend you to watch that for one time. Yeah. So it is actually quite interesting movie, right? So Alan Turing, he proposed that. Okay. Proposed this question, right? So he asked, can machine think? Usually we think that this is a very beginning of the AI idea. But in the year of 1956, like we have a man here called John McCarthy. He defined that AI as a branch of computer science, and he's also the one who has officially proposed the concept of AI in a conference, right? Making people to start looking into the possibility of AI seriously. All right, and after then, yeah, we have the Marvin Minsky proposed the opinion that AI should have the intelligence comparable to human beings. All right, it proposed that machine, right? It proposed that the AI, right, should have the intelligence comparable to the human being, because we know human being, we have a lot of different kind of intelligence, right? So we were going to introduce you later in the later slide, yeah. But yeah, here, right, Marvin Minsky proposed that, yeah, AI should have the intelligence comparable to the human being. Right. So from this opinion, it makes us started to wonder, what actually does so-called intelligence means? What is the intelligence that we meant here? Right? So you might wonder, right? Because intelligence is actually quite general terms, but yeah, what kind of intelligence that we are referring here, right? In the artificial intelligence. So you might wonder. So over here, someone give an answer to it. Okay, someone give an answer to it. So what are the intelligence that we are referring to? So according to Howard Gardner, a very famous American psychologist, he said that human intelligence can be divided into 7 categories. Because remember just now, Marvin Minsky said that, yeah, AI should have the intelligence comparable to like the human being, right? So these are the human intelligence that we have actually, right? So it can be, the human intelligence can be divided into 7 categories, including verbal or linguistic intelligence. So like us, we are able to use language to express ourselves, right? And try to communicate with each other using our language and try to make others to understand our thoughts, right? So this is the intelligence that we have as a human, right? And the second intelligence here, which is the logical or mathematical intelligence. Yeah, so of course we can perform calculation, we can understand maths, all right? So using the math theory, we can come up with something, some technology, right? So these are the logical or mathematical intelligence that we have. And the third intelligence is the visual or spatial intelligence, right? We are able to see, and from what we see, we can do a deduction from that. Right, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. Yeah, we can control our body movement. Right, when we want to bend our hand. Right, when we want to shake the hands of others, and yeah, when we want to sit down. Right, so we can control our body. And you can see that those athletes, right, like athletes who participate in the the Olympics in Tokyo. Right, of course, not only just those athletes in the Olympics, but yeah, all kind of athletes. They're actually people who has a higher intelligence in the bodily or kinesthetic intelligence, because they can control, they can utilize their body very well, right, compared to the other people. Right? So yeah, that is what we call those people who has a higher intelligence in this field. Okay, and then yeah, of course, other than the bodily or kinesthetic intelligence, we have the musical or rhythmic intelligence. We can understand the music structure, we can compose music, we can play piano, right? We can understand all these things right here, right? And of course, interpersonal or intrapersonal intelligence. So these are all 7 categories, yeah, right, for the human intelligence. So what is AI? Another question here, the same question here, yeah? So it is hard to give a general accepted definition of AI concept actually. All right, but here you can see the conceptual here is proposed firstly by Sir John McCarthy in year of 1956, which says that it is actually AI is a science and engineering of making intelligent machine, especially the intelligent computer programs. So we can see that actually the key point is that AI is an interdisciplinary science itself. All right, if we have a look at the downright figure right here, we can see that there are actually different disciplines in here. Right, we have the brain science, cognitive science, psychology, linguistics, logic. Right, all these are the different disciplines involved in AI. All right, and of course, also a lot of other technology as shown in the live figure right here, such as the data mining, statistics, pattern recognition, neural computing, and so on. They have something to do with the AI concept. Right, so in short words, we say AI is not only AI, but it is composed of knowledge from different fields. All right, so yeah, that is basically a little bit on the AI, yeah. Okay, and yeah, this is a very important points to note because we can hear very frequently about these 2 terms right here, the machine learning and deep learning, while we are studying about the artificial intelligence. Right, so of course you must be familiar, right, with these 2 terms right here, machine learning and deep learning. So people can sometimes be quite confused about these 2 terms right here. All right, but actually machine learning, deep learning, right, their relationship is rather simple. Okay, we can say that deep learning is one of the subset of machine learning, and machine learning is also one of the subset of artificial intelligence. So AI, right? AI is to make machine to have the human intelligence, right? So remember this point here. So why we need to do the AI, right? Because AI is to make machine to have human intelligence. Right? Remember the 7 intelligence categories proposed by Sir John, the Howard Gardner. So to get the AI system, okay, machine learning is not the only way that, machine learning is not the only one that we need to depend on. Right, means that other than the machine learning, we still need to depend on others like data mining, databases, and so on. So that's why we say machine learning is just one of the big subset of artificial intelligence. All right, it doesn't mean the entire AI, right? But it's just one of the tools that we can use to achieve AI. All right. So in general, what machine learning do to help with the with us to get the AI system to have the human intelligence is that in machine learning, we are trying to get the best algorithm by letting the machine to learn from the data. Okay, so in we just want to we want the machine to learn something from the data, and how they can learn something from the data, yeah, it will be on the machine learning part. All right, so in the machine learning, we are trying to study the algorithm that we can make the machine to learn from the data. Okay, to learn the correct information from the data, yeah, then that will be the machine learning. All right, so to make the machine to learn from the data, we have different way, different algorithm to help with it. All right, so deep learning is one of the algorithm that we can use to make machine learn the true information. Yeah, so deep learning is one of the tools that we can complete machine learning, because machine learning, of course, we have other way other than the deep learning. All right, we can also have other kind of algorithm like, you know, the linear regression. We have the SVM, logistic regression, Naive. We can have a lot of different kind of algorithm involved in the machine learning. But deep learning is just one of it. All right, but it is a very, very powerful one. So later on in our next week, we're going to look into the deep learning. Yeah, so it is a very, very powerful tool for us to use in the machine learning to make our machine to learn faster and also to learn deeper. So that's why, right, so we will pay more attention to the deep learning. And of course, in nowadays, yeah, deep learning can definitely do a lot of things compared to the other algorithms. So we're going to look into it in our next week. Okay, so these are the relationship about these three terms right here. Yeah, so don't be confused. Right, always remember deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. All right, so that will be the relationship. And on top of here, you can see that, yeah, we have 4 elements right here, okay, which is very, very important to the artificial intelligence. So you must remember all these things. If maybe let's say after this you're going to sit for the exam or for the competition, yeah, so I would say these 4 elements you must remember. Yeah, so maybe in the question they might ask you about this one here. Okay, so these 4 elements is very, very important to the artificial intelligence. So they are the data, okay, algorithm, computing power, and scenario. So must remember these 4 elements here, right? Because if you want to come up with the artificial intelligence system, all right, you want to come up with the AI system. So of course, okay, the very, very first thing is that you need to know, you need to make sure you know what's the scenario you are facing, right? Because scenario here will give you a clue on what kind of the AI system you want to build, right? For example, the scenario here can be like you are from the company, and now your company wants to come up with the electronic attendance system, which will like record the employee attendance using the facial recognition. So that will be your scenario. From the scenario, you will know what kind of the AI system you want to build, right? So that will be the very, very first step for the AI, right? Because without the scenario, without knowing what are the system you want to build, how you can build your AI system, right? You must have a target, and then you can start to figure out the next steps and so on, right? So that will be a very, very important things in AI, right? You must have your purpose, right? So after you get your purpose, of course, you need to collect the relevant data, because to train the AI system, it is not easy. You must get a lot of data to support the training of your AI system. All right, so without enough data, you can't have a good model. Right, so later on in the chapter 2, I'm going to let you know as well, right, the importance of the data and the volume of the data. So you must have a lot of data, and not only just the volume, but yeah, the quality of the data you must make sure as well, because if the data is not relevant to your case, then how can you use this data to train your model? All right, so the data quality and quantity, these the 2 things that you need to ensure, right, when you want to train the AI system. Right, so that will be part for the data, because remember just now I did mention, so if you want to come up with the AI system, right, so we want the machine to learn something, right, learn from the data. We are not going to hard-code some rules to the machine, but instead we'll let the machine to learn itself by looking at the data, right? So if you give a good data, of course, your model can learn good things, okay, learn the correct thing. But if you give him a bad data, of course, your model can learn from the bad data. So of course the output will not going to be good as well. All right, so data itself is very, very important. Okay, and after data, you can see there's an algorithm here. All right, so of course algorithm is very important as well, because algorithm is the one that will process the data. All right, so without a good algorithm, yeah, the output can never be the one that you wish to get. Right, so to choose the correct algorithm to be used in your model, it is very important as well. Okay, and for the computing power, of course, if you want to run your algorithm, you want to run your data, you want to process everything, of course, you need to have the computing power. Right, so not just a little bit of the computing power, but you need to have a lot of computing power, because if you want your we will say since the data volume will be very huge, so how to get the result in a short time. Right, so that will depend on the computing power that you are able to supply to your model. Right, if you are able to supply a lot of computing power to your model training, of course, the process can be run faster. Okay, maybe I mean 1 day instead of 30 days. Right, so it will depend very much on the computing power as well. All right, so these are the 4 very, very important elements in AI. Okay, so I hope you can remember all these 4 here. Okay, so yeah, this will be the things right here. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is just a little bit more on definition for the AI, machine learning, and deep learning. Yeah, so yeah, AI is a new technical science that focuses on the research and development of theories, methods, technique, and application system for simulating and extending human intelligence. I would say for this definition, you just need to take note on the last few words right here. Okay, which is the simulate and extending human intelligence. Okay, so this is the key point. Right. So what we want to do in AI, we want to simulate human intelligence in a machine. Okay, and machine learning is a core research field of AI. All right, its study is actually just a very short word. It is a study of algorithm. Okay, it's a study of algorithm because the algorithm is the one that will help us to process the data later on. All right, so we want to get the correct algorithm to be used in our model, to be used as our model. Okay, so machine learning is a study of algorithm. How we can obtain a good algorithm that we can use to process our data in a correct way so that we can get the correct outcome. Yeah, so that is the machine learning. And deep learning over here, right, this is just a new field of machine learning. Right? So we're going to look into this in our next week, yeah. So yeah, don't worry about this one here. All right, as long as you can understand what I'm trying to say over here. So of course you have no problems to understand all these things right here. All right. So the next part here is the major school of thoughts right here. Okay. So to understand how could we actually come up with the artificial intelligence system that can mimic human intelligence, right? Of course, we need to understand first how human thought works. Okay, macam mana kita punya otak berfungsi. Yeah, so that we can understand, right? When we see a cat, we know it is a cat. We will not say it is a bird or something else. What we have the capability to recognize something. Right, and we want to make sure this capability here can also be, I mean, the machine can also have this capability. But before we can make it to have that capability, yes, of course, we need to understand first how human thoughts work. All right. So, if you want to understand, right, so we can understand the human thoughts work based on these 3 major schools of thought. Right, because these 3 major schools of thought will can be used to describe how human thought looks like. All right, yeah, so we will just first look into the first school of thought, okay, which is the symbolism. Okay, symbolism. So for symbolism, all the concept will be represented by symbol. Okay, will be represented by symbol. So maybe, for example, right, for like us as a human, right, when we saw somebody is wearing a skirt, right, straight away our first thought is that this person is a female. Right, the skirt here is like the symbol of female. All right, or maybe sometimes, some other times, we might see someone who has a very short haircut. Okay, a very short haircut. So immediately we might think of that person is a guy. Okay, because a short haircut, a very short haircut, or maybe botak. All right, so no hair. So maybe because we know usually a very short haircut, usually it will symbolize a male. All right, so that will be the symbolism school. So sometimes we'll look at the symbol of that something, and then we'll come to a conclusion. Right, so that is the symbolism school. That when we want to come to a conclusion, we observe the symbol. All right, and then you can see the next school of thought is connectionism. All right, but of course, as a human, we will not simply draw any conclusion just based on one symbol that we have observed. All right, of course, we're going to consider other symbol as well. So, so that's why we have the connectionism school of thoughts right here. Instead of just looking at one symbol or two, we'll try to make some connection, okay, between all the symbols that we have observed. So previously we said that all the concept can be represented by the symbol in the symbolism school of thought, but in the connectionism, the concept will be represented by a set of numbers, vectors, or matrices. Because based on the connectionism, the system will give us the result based on the calculation. Okay, from the mathematical models, not just based on a symbol anymore. Okay, you can see from the example in this slide here, how the connectionism works to recognize the apple. Okay, basically it will compute the probability based on the feature that we have observed on this fruit right here. For example, according to the feature shown in the input right here, let's say the shape of this fruit, okay, what is the probability of this feature representing an apple? Right, and then from the other feature as well, let's say the color. What is the probability that this color can represent an apple? Let's say it's a red color, right? So what is the probability that this red color can represent an apple? All right, so we won't just simply say that because it is red, it must be an apple. We will not say that, right? So because the red can also be a cherry, can also be a rambutan, and so on. So we basically can't just based on one symbol to do a deduction. So after the machine compute all the probability of all the feature it observed, then it combines all the probability together and tell whether this fruit is an apple or not. All right, so that is basically how the connectionism will do. All right, as a human, when we want to come to a conclusion to like telling what is the things right here, right, of course we are going to, like in our brain, we're going to consider a lot of different feature that we observe in this object, right? So we will not just based on one feature, but yeah, a lot of feature. Then we combine them together, and then yeah, we will tell the result based on the a combination of different feature here. But in our brain, we're actually doing some calculation, but we do not know. Yeah, so because it happens too fast as well, right? So we won't notice that actually in our brain we are doing this kind of calculation, right? Because sometimes, you know, when we try to tell something, we will have this kind of action. I'm 70% sure that this thing is A. I'm 90% sure that this thing should be B. I'm not so sure, but just 30% I'm sure that this thing is C, let's say. So how come you can come up with this 30%, 70%, 80%, 90%? Actually, your brain is doing the calculation, but you don't notice that. Yeah, so that is actually the connectionism thoughts right here in our brain, in our human thoughts right here. All right, so yeah, that is the connectionism. We are trying to connect the things up. All right, so to come to a conclusion. All right, so and then we have the third school of thought right here, which is the behaviorism. All right, behaviorism, because you know we are not always deal with the recognizing thing. All right, because yeah, for the connectionism, for the symbolism, yes, when we are dealing with something that we need to recognize something, yeah, that two schools that can describe all that how we can come to a conclusion. But now here in the behaviorism school of thought, right, especially like sometimes we need to learn something, right? As a human, we need to learn something, but how can we learn? Right? How can we learn? Right? Sometimes you will learn it from books. You will learn it from like maybe listen to a lecture and so on. But you know, some of the things that, right, like playing a basketball, you can't simply learn through books. You can't simply learn through like someone teach you, say, tell you how to play basketball, right? So you can't simply learn through all these things right here, but you need to like put yourself into the real court, right? You need to go into the game, you need to go into the basketball court and learn to play the basketball by yourself. All right, so that is the a very good way to learn how to play basketball, right? So yeah, we need to go into the field. So that is the things that we want to propose here by the behaviorism. All right, so when you want to learn something, right, as a human, when we want to learn something, we will need to go into the field and experience it ourselves and do a lot of trial and error, right? So that we can learn the true skill of playing the basketball or doing some other thing as well. All right, so that is the behaviorism scope. And you can see that actually for the AI application, right? Some of the AI application, like, you know, the autonomous driving car, how the car can actually learn how to drive on the road. Right? They are also based on the behaviorism concept right here to learn how they can drive on the road, autonomously. Right? So you will see that some of the robot, right? How can this robot do the correct action? Okay, you can see, yeah, maybe you can see a lot of a robot. They can do a lot of quite some very good action, like helping you to wash the dish, helping you to like clear the floor and so on. But before they can perform this kind of action, how they learn? Yeah, how could they learn? Are we programmed to be in that way? Okay, most of the time not, because in the real environment, it has a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unpredictable issue in the real environment. So we can't really program everything. All right, so that's why we need the robot itself, right? We need the car itself to actually learn by themselves, right? Instead of we do the programming for them. Right? All these things is all actually based on the behaviorism school of thoughts right here. Because in our, as a human, we also learn through this behaviorism. Right? We go into the field and play by ourselves, right? And then through the constant interaction with the environment, with your friends, right? You can know what are the things that you need to make correction. Right? So you will try first, and then if you get the error, you do a correction, and then from the correction, you will become better and better. Yeah, so that will be the behaviorism school of thought, right? Yeah, so these are three major school of thought that we can use to describe how the human thoughts works. All right, so these are the concept right here, okay, the underlying concept. All right, so next part here, we look into the overview of AI technology, yeah? So we can see it from the bottom to the top right here, right? AI technology actually covered from the process, chip, device, algorithm, and to the top level service or application layer at every level. So AI technology are multi-layered and are all chained together. All right, so application as the interface between the user and your AI model. So we have a lot of different kind of AI application. It can be application for video and for image processing, for voice speech, for text, and for control, and etc. Right, these are just some examples. So as you can see from the left-hand side here on the slide, basically, whenever we want to pass our instruction to the AI system, the instruction can be passed through the application. So that's why we say application is like the middleman in between the user and also your AI model who will do the processing. Okay, process your instruction, process your data, all those things, right? So we will need to go through the application. Okay, so so you can see from here, your instruction, your data will be passed into your algorithm in the device, right, through this direction right here, and then be processed by the chip in your device, and then the result can be returned in a way, okay, for the same route as well, right? So you will the data will be going through in this direction, be processed, and then the result will be coming up and shown to the user in the same, through this way as well. All right, the result will be returned, okay, and shown in the application. And over here on the right hand side, these are just some example of the elements in each layer right here that we have discussed here. Right, you can have a look. So every layer, definitely they will have the specific technology that can help the things to become better. Okay, so that will be the overview right here. So when we talk about the AI, of course, we have different kind of AI. All right, we have different kind of AI. We have just by a very basic classification here, we have a strong AI and we have the weak AI. Okay, we have a strong AI and of course we have the weak AI. So how can we say AI is strong or weak? Okay, so over here you can see that strong AI can have the self-awareness, can independently think about the problems and work out the optimal solution to the problems. So you don't have to tell them what to do. Yeah, because they will have the self-awareness, they have a self-conscious, right? You don't even have to like tell them what to do, and they can actually consider it by themselves. They can have independent thinking, right, about the problems, and they can figure out the correct way to solve the problems. That is what we call a strong AI. Okay, but for the weak AI, you can see, okay, weak AI cannot really reason and solve problems. Right? This machine only look intelligent, but do not have the real intelligence or self-awareness. That is what we call the weak AI. Okay, and currently you can see that, yeah, we have a lot of different kind of intelligent robots. Okay, and this intelligent robot, no matter is your autonomous driving car, your vacuum cleaner, all right, so maybe your some of the trust playing model, right? So we can classify this intelligent robot into few categories. Okay, you can see that we can classify them into like those robots that can think like human beings, they can act like human beings, they can think rationally, and they can act rationally. So we have this 4 categories right here. Right? And for the first 2 categories here, we can classify them as a weak AI. Okay, don't be surprised because Watson and AlphaGo, these 2 robots here, which is like, you know, very good model that can actually defeat the top human player in a game, right? Because we know, right? So they actually join for the the world-class tournament, the chess game. Yeah, so they can defeat the top human player in the world. Right, but they are still be considered as a weak AI. Why? Right, and then you can see there's a humanoid robot, iRobot, Atlas, or Boston Dynamics that usually you would think that they are very good AI. But why they are actually still be classified as a weak AI? Yeah, because you know, for this kind of the system, right, like the Watson and AlphaGo, because how they can actually play so good in the game? Okay, because somebody trained them before with a lot of the possibility. Okay, in the game. So that's why they can learn all this possibility in the game, and then they can process the data very fast, and then they can come up with the very good the next movement, or maybe the next movement in the game, right? They can play a game very well because they have so many previous information about how to win the game and so on, because they have been trained before. So if you want to ask this Watson or AlphaGo to do other things, okay, let's say you want them to do like maybe speech processing and so on, of course they won't be able to do so, right? And of course, all the time when we talk about this kind of weak AI, we are referring to those robots or AI model that can have only a very narrow, they can perform a very narrow task only. Okay, they can be very good at certain tasks. Okay, but if you want to ask them to do for another task, they can't do. That is one of the characteristics of weak AI. Even though we said they are very good at this field here, but they don't have the self-awareness to do other things. So that is why we say these are all still considered as a weak AI. And for currently, no intelligent robot yet, okay, that have been created due to the bottleneck in the brain science. We still don't have any strong AI in the market yet. And of course, due to some ethical issue, right? So we can't really have a strong AI in the market yet, okay, before we can solve all those ethical problems. So we, unless we can come up with some solution to that kind of, the ethical issue, the problems, right? Only then, maybe we can see some strong AI application in the market and so on. But now, currently, we just have the weak AI. All right, for your information. Okay, and for the AI industry ecosystem right here, right? So this is a picture that you can see. Right, remember just now, I did mention there are 4 very important elements in AI. Right, the data, the algorithm, the computing power, and also the scenario. Remember, data, algorithm, computing power, and scenario. So from this graph here, you can see their connection. All right, you can see that connection. And from here, to meet the requirement of these 4 elements, right? To get these 4 elements in simple words, we need to combine AI with the cloud computing, big data, and IoT, your Internet of Things. Okay, to build an intelligent society right here. So you can see from this graph here, let's say we start from the very bottom layer right here, which is the infrastructure. So from this part here, you can see, okay, what are the things we have in this layer? Okay, we have the internet, sensor, and IoT. All right, for this part right here. And then we also have the server, the high performance chip right here, supporting this part right here. So we just look into one by one. All right, let's say we just look into this part right here first. Okay, so we say when we want to train the AI system, right? After we have after we have figured out the scenario, we want to start to collect the data. So how can we collect the data in such a huge amount? Right, because you need to make sure that you have enough volume of data, because if not, that your model can never be good enough. Okay, so to make sure that you have enough data, right? How can we collect this huge amount of data? Yeah, you can get it from here. Okay, from the infrastructure layer. So this means that this is where you can collect the data, right? From either you want to collect it from the internet, right? From the sensor, right? Or from the Internet of Things, like your smartwatch, maybe your smart TV, and so on. Right, so we can collect the data from this infrastructure right here. Right, so this will be the contributor to your data, and then the data can be stored as a big data right here. So big data is just a general term to describe a very huge amount of data. It is nothing much but just a term to describe a huge amount of data. All right, so big data can be also a system or platform for you to store your data. Okay, so if you're familiar with the terms like Hadoop, Apache Hadoop, and Kafka, all those things, they're actually a project that can help you to manage the huge amount of the data. Okay, so because when we have a lot of data that collect from this layer right here, from the internet, from sensor, from IoT, and then of course for some of the time when we want to build our model, right, we want to train our model, we need to get some data out from the data storage system, right? But how can we get the data in an efficient way? Okay, how we can fit the data to our model training in the fastest way? Yeah, so it will depend on your data storage system. So that's why you can see big data can be a basic technology that can help you to store, to manage a large amount of the data. Okay, because we are definitely not going to use all data, because maybe you are collecting very, very, very much of the data from your internet, from the sensor, from IoT, but for some cases, you might need to just use one part of it. All right, you are not going to use all of it. All right, so of course you need to extract the data out. So how to extract the data out in an efficient way? Yeah, so that is the part that big data will play a role. Right, it can be a platform for your data management. So it can contribute data to your model training right here, to be processed by the algorithm. Yeah, so that explains what we mean here by this part right here, right, all about the data. And on the other hand, you can see on the right hand side here, we have the server, high performance chip. These are the infrastructure that can provide the the computing power for the model. Okay, remember just now I did mention, right, computing power is a very important element in the AI. So of course we need to make sure that the computing power is enough, right? We need to have a high performance chip to support for the computing power. And then you can see in the middle here, we have the cloud computing. So what does it mean by the cloud computing right here? Okay, because nowadays, right, when we want to get the computing power, we actually have two ways to get it. Yeah, one is you buy yourself a physical server, a physical high performance chip. You buy yourself, right? Of course, if you buy yourself a physical one, of course you need to take care of it as well. Okay, just maybe example, you get yourself a physical server, and inside the physical server, you have a very high performance chip in here. So when you get this kind of device in your room, of course, you need to make sure that the surrounding environment must be cool enough. Okay, air ventilated and the environments always have the power. Okay, and then yeah, you need to make sure that all these things right here to run your server, right? So if you never ensure all this environment criteria right here, then maybe your server can be malfunction. They are not able to like supply the computing power to your model and so on, because you know when the server is trying to process, something, so it will dissipate some heat, right? So this heat must be properly handled. If not, then yeah, your server can get overheat, right? And then yeah, of course your server can be malfunction. That is what I mean here. So you need to make sure the environment also is good for the server. All right, so that is the first way that yeah, you can get your computing power. And another way now is that you can actually get it from the cloud service provider. Yeah, the other way here, the second way to get the computing power is get the computing power directly from the cloud provider. So that's why you can see there's a cloud computing right here. Okay, because nowadays we have so many cloud service provider like, you know, Huawei Cloud, we have the like Google Cloud, we have other cloud like AWS, we have the Azure, Microsoft Azure as well. So we have so many different kind of cloud service provider. So if let's say you can get the computing power from this cloud service provider like Huawei Cloud, of course you don't have to buy yourself the physical server. Yeah, so you can just subscribe. You can say that you can subscribe the computing power from the cloud provider, right? Then they can straight away give you the computing power without you need to go and buy a physical server in your group. Yeah, so unless you are ready for the physical server, if not, nowadays people will tend to like maybe get the computing power from the cloud service provider, because it will be much more easier for them, and they don't have to take care of their server. Yeah, they don't have to configure a server and so on. Yeah, so that will be another convenient way for the user, especially for the user who trying to run for some lightweight application, lightweight AI application. They just want to run some small model, simple model, or they just want to test some idea and so on. So they just want to have a little bit computing power instead of having the the entire server that can maybe provide a lot of computing power, right? So they can just go for the cloud service provider to get their computing power. So nowadays we can get the computing power very easily, right? And then from the computing power that we can get and the data, right, we can feed it into the algorithm and try to start to train our algorithm, right? Remember just now, right? We want the machine to learn from the data. Right, so we will let the algorithm to be trained by the data itself, and the algorithm will later you will see, okay, inside the algorithm will have a lot of parameters in there. So the parameters value can be changed, okay, based on the data, okay, based on the data that you feed into it. So it will change the parameters value, and then makes the this parameter value will play a very, very great role to affect the output from the algorithm. All right, so yeah, we will use the data to tune all those parameters in the algorithm itself. All right, so later in an afternoon session, you will see this. Okay, so just remember right here, we're going to use our data to train our algorithm. So only then we can use our algorithm to solve our problems. Like you want to build yourself a system that have the computer vision capability, right? Speech processing, NLP is natural language processing, right? Planning and decision making system, big data analysis, and of course there's more. Right? These are just some example for you to see here. Okay, and then of course after this you got your technologies right here. Of course you can merge them together to get you a AI application to be used in the finance sector, healthcare sector, security protection sector, entertainment, and so on. All right, you can combine multiple technologies right here to form your AI application. All right, so this is how you can this is the path we say how you can get your AI application at the end. All right, so these are all the things that you will went through. But of course, right here, when we mention all these things right here, it doesn't mean that you must have all these things in your application, but it depends on what kind of application. Remember, your scenario. Right? If you want to come up with the electronic attendance system, of course maybe you just need to have the computer vision, will be enough already. You don't have to like put in an NLP, put in a speech processing technology in your application. Yeah, no need. All right. So go to which technical direction. It depends on what kind of AI application you want to build. Based on your purpose. Okay, based on your scenario. All right. So that is how we can relate all these 4 elements right here in this AI industry ecosystem. All right, yeah, so that will be the AI industry ecosystem. And over here, you can see there's a subfields involved in AI. Okay, AI is a very, very big topic, we say. Okay, it's a very big topic. So that's why, all right, so it's just like the engineering, you know, right? In the school, right, we have the School of Engineering, and we know engineering is not just engineering, but it has like chemical engineering, it has mechanical engineering, it has maybe network engineering. So we have so many different kind of engineering. Right, so it stems go for the AI as well. So AI, we have the computer vision. It's just like maybe a chemical engineering in the engineering study, right? And we have the NLP, we have a speech processing, right? So all these are the subfields of AI, right? So always remember, AI is a very big topic, right? So it will take you a long time for you to actually learn all these things right here. So you don't be surprised. Maybe some of the AI expert, right? They are only expert in the computer vision. Maybe they don't know about the robots, they don't know about other fields. That is normal, right? Because yeah, unless this guy here, maybe they learn many years, and then yeah, you know, 50 years old, 60 years old, yeah, they have a lot of experience. So yeah, they can have a lot of knowledge from all these fields, subfields right here. Okay, so yeah, these are just some subfields, okay, that are involved in the AI. Okay, just to let you know, right, we have the subfields right here. All right, so that will be a little bit on the AI overview. Okay, so the next part here will be into the technical fields and application fields of AI. Yeah? So over here, you can see from here in this diagram right here, this is actually from the Global AI Development White Paper 2020. So the inner part here will be all starting from the algorithm. So if you want to get the AI application, of course, you need to start with the algorithm. You need to select the correct algorithm to be used in your research, right? In your study. Right, so we have a lot of different algorithm right here for you to choose, but you need to choose it correctly, right? So in the in the afternoon session, I will tell you about some tips on how you can select the correct algorithms. All right, so but just make sure that you know, right? Because different algorithm can be used in different case. They can achieve optimal performance in a certain in a certain application. Maybe like for example, decision tree can be good in situation A, but it cannot be good in situation B, right? So we can have this kind of things happen. All right. So to make sure that you can select the you need to make sure that correct algorithm can be selected in your research, and then you can come up with the technology. The AI technology that you want, right? And then use it in your AI application. Okay. So that is the layer by layer, their relationship right here, right? So it will always start with the algorithm, right? So over here, this is just a statistic, okay, to tell you that in the China, right? So actually for the AI application technology, right, the AI technology that we can apply in our application, we can divide them into these 3 directions, right? Computer vision, all things that related to the recognizing. Right, computer vision, like when you want to do a facial recognition, you want to do an image classification, right? So to make your model have the capability to recognize something, right? That is the part by the computer vision. So this computer vision, this technology here will allow the machine to have the capability to see, okay, to see and to make the deduction from what they see. Okay, so just like for example, your face recognition, how your mobile phone can see you, Right? Actually, at the back end, they have the computer vision technology that enable your mobile phone can see you, and they can deduce that this is like maybe this is Gaby. Okay, this is Pak Randa. Okay, this is Pak Joshua. This is Sarah, and so on. So they can they can see, and then they can do a conclusion from what they see. Right? So that will be the computer vision. It is actually a very general term to describe a lot of technology, because we have a lot of different applications, like like I mentioned just now, image classification, image recognition, object detection. All these applications will depend on the computer vision technology. Okay, and other than that, right, so other than the computer vision, we also have the speech processing and also the NLP, natural language processing. Okay, so and I know, because sometimes, right, people can get very confused about these two terms right here, the speech processing and also the NLP. All right, so maybe they seems like very similar to each other. Right, so they are like very similar to each other. So when we need to separate them out, right? So, but I would say that actually these two terms right here, the speech processing and NLP, they have a they are very different from each other, I would say. Okay, because for the speech processing, you can understand it in a way that, yeah, you can understand it from the aspect of input data. Speech processing will be more on to process the audio data. Yeah, something related to the voice, the audio data. That is the job for the speech processing. But for the NLP, it can deal with the speech data, the audio data, and also the text data, because sometimes the natural language can be in the text form. Right? To process the natural language itself is the language speech by us. As a human, we speak natural language. Right? We speak natural language, no matter is a Mandarin, or no matter is a Bahasa Indonesia, right? No matter is a English, right? So all this spoken by the human being, yeah, all these are what we call a natural language. So of course, when we want to use this natural language, we are not always speak. Right? Maybe someone they ask you to like fill in the feedback form for them. Okay, especially when you subscribe a service, and then, yeah, of course, the service provider will ask you to like fill in a feedback form to tell them whether you are satisfied with the service or not, right? So you will write your opinion in the text form, right? Text-based opinion, right? So that is a thing can be processed by the NLP as well. Right, so that is the first difference between these two, speech processing and NLP. NLP can do it both, right? Audio data or the text data, but speech processing will be more on the audio data. Okay, and the other difference here is that speech processing, we say it is more on to recognize the voice. Okay, to recognize the speech signal, to recognize what you are saying, just to recognize. Right, but for the natural language processing, it will be more on to understand the meaning behind. All right, so just like the example that we used just now, like the feedback, right? So from the feedback, no matter you are filling in the feedback form, or you are just by your words, you are telling the service provider in a speech form, right? NLP can help you to analyze. Okay, analyze a comment, whether this comment is a happy comment or a sad comment. Yeah, they will try to understand the meaning behind. So when you want to understand something, some hidden meaning, some meaning at the behind, yeah, you will use the NLP. Okay, to understand. So that is the second difference. Okay, one is to recognize, another is to understand. Right, so you can see that actually, right, so for the chat box nowadays, like the Siri, like the Cortana, all these intelligent chat bot, they are actually combining these two together to use together. Yeah, that is actually what we have nowadays. Yeah, so we can have these two to run together. They can cooperate with each other very well. Yeah, so that is the difference between these two. And then these three, including the computer vision, these are the major direction of the AI technologies nowadays. All right. So over here you can see, yeah, these are just some statistics to tell you that, yeah, inside China, right, the the vision, okay, computer vision is among the most popular AI technology that people will use in their application. And then of course outside China as well, like in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in some other countries as well, right? So computer vision is also the most popular AI technology to be used in the AI application. Right, and of course, other than this, we have also the voice processing NLP also, right? So these are just a little bit, statistics to tell you about the application. Okay, and then yeah, these are just some computer vision application scenario. Like for the if you want to run the face recognition, you want to compare the between the images, you want to do an authentication result, you want to see the you want to use it in an authentication system, right? Or traffic analysis. All these can be based on the computer vision. Okay, because if your machine cannot see, then how can it recognize somebody's face? How can they help you to authenticate someone? How they can allow the traffic to be analyzed? So of course, it will be all started from based on the computer vision, including like, target tracking, OCR, optical character recognition, right? So to recognize the the character, right? And then face recognition, right? All these are the common application scenario of computer vision, right? Of course, including like the action analysis, smart album, right? Authentication, image search, right? All these are the application scenario. And for the voice processing, like the QA bot, Q&A bot, your question answering bot, your voice notification, all these require your voice to be recognized first. Only then at the back end, they can process your instruction, right? So yeah, it will be all started when you can make your model to make your system to recognize the voice, right? All these are the application scenario. And for the NLP as well, right? You can enable the NLP for your public opinion analysis to analyze the public opinion, whether they like this or not, whether they prefer this or not, right? So yeah, that will be the public opinion analysis. And then when you want to evaluate your customer preference and so on, you can evaluate using the NLP, because as I mentioned just now, NLP is a technology that we can use to understand the underlying meaning of the natural language. Okay, and then of course, like your machine translation, you can also translate, let's say from Mandarin to Bahasa Indonesia, from Bahasa Indonesia to English, right? So machine translation, right? Text classification, when you have a text right here, you want to classify them into different categories. For example, into the economic categories, into the e-commerce categories, into happy category, into sad category. Yeah, you can classify using the NLP, because they know when they see this word here, it knows that it should belong to the happy class. Okay, the class, indicating the happy words. Okay, some happy words, some sad words. How they can know this is sad, this is happy, right? So we have the NLP to help them to understand. All right, so that will be some application for the NLP. All right, and of course that right here we can combine the AI application into the some system in some specific fields, like in the healthcare sector. We can have an intelligent healthcare, which we will combine all these technology together. Okay, we can have the medicine mining to be helped by the AI, so that we can quickly develop the personalized medicine by the AI assistant. So the AI itself can help you to try to figure out which medicine should be prescribed to this patient, right? So at the back end, they will process all the your patient information, their disease and their condition, so that they can prescribe the very customized and very effective medicine for this patient, and so on. All right. So all these are the application, okay, that we can use in the intelligent healthcare. And of course, like for the intelligent security as well, we can use AI to improve the security level, right? We can use it for the police use, for the civil use. We can classify the application scenario into these two categories. Okay, for the police use, right? So they can use the AI to track the vehicle, to track the suspect, right? Because you can install a lot of smart cameras around the city, like in a smart city like Singapore, like New York, all those cities, right? They actually have a lot of smart cameras installed around their city. So police can use this, this surveillance system right here to actually track down the suspect, track down some vehicle, right? So to minimize the in the city, right? So, and then of course, as a civil, right, as a public, we can also use it to improve the security of our house. Okay, let's say you can use a facial recognition to, let's say, unlock the door. Okay, you can install some camera around your house to warn you against a potential danger. Because remember just now, right? We can have the action analysis application. So maybe somebody is trying to do some dangerous action, around your house. Then the system can send you the alert. Okay, you can configure in this way, right? And then to form your home protective measure deployment. Okay, to improve the safety of your family and so on. Right? So this will be the intelligent security that we can form using the AI application. Right, of course, your smart home, right? So I guess everyone is already familiar with this concept right here. So you will integrate the Internet of Things, okay, the IoT, right, together with the AI, right? So because the IoT here is, remember, this is the infrastructure to collect the data. Okay, so for example, now if let's say you have a smart home, okay, you can use your voice to control your aircon temperature. Okay, but how can the aircon understand your voice? All right, remember, this is the very the works of NLP. Okay, so but before the NLP can get the voice, okay, because we know NLP, their role is to process the natural language. But where do this natural language come from? Okay, actually IoT is the one to collect the voice. Okay, so IoT can be a sensor, can be anything, can be your some device. The sensor can be a temperature sensor, can be a voice sensor, can be some frequency sensor. It can be a lot of different kind of sensor. So the sensor here will be the one that will collect your voice, your instruction, and then from the IoT here, which is the sensor here, right? They can send all this information to the AI system, okay, which is your NLP. So the NLP will process your instruction, okay, will process the data collected by the IoT, and then they will process it, and then from the processing, they know, okay, you are actually telling them to lower down the temperature to 26 degrees. Okay, let's say, okay, they can understand your meaning, right? And then they will send the signal to the to your smart aircon, and then the aircon can be the temperature can be lowered down. So that is the flow right here. So we need to make sure that if you want to control your smart devices in your smart home, right, with your voice, of course, you need to make sure that you have IoT that can help you to collect the voice signal first. Okay, because AI is not responsible for the data collection. Okay, AI is for the processing. So for the data collection part, you need to refer to the infrastructure layer. Remember just now in the AI ecosystem, the 5 layer. So you need to get yourself the sensor that can help you to collect the data. All right, so that is very important, especially in the smart home deployment here. Right, and then of course, we can use the AI in the smart city because we can use it together with the security protection. Remember, we can install a lot of the smart cameras around the city, right, to protect the citizen, right, and then we can use the AI together with transportation and so on, right. All this can be helped by the AI, right, so that we can form a smart city. We can form a smart city, And of course, like retail as well, right? I guess everyone know about the unmanned supermarket, right? So if you are familiar with the unmanned supermarket, the concept here, you will see that in the unmanned supermarket, what you will see that is you won't see anybody, any storekeeper in the supermarket. Because normally, in a normal market, you will see that in the, you will have a cashier. In the in a counter, right? So in the counter there will be a cashier. So when you finish your grocery, when you finish your shopping, right, you need to bring all the stuff that you want to buy into the counter, and then the cashier will have to scan through all those, like the barcode, and then only then you can leave the supermarket, right? So you still need to have the manual manual works to like scan the items. Only then you can walk up from the store, right? If let's say in some supermarket as well, maybe you can have a self-service counter where you can scan yourself, right? You have a system there, and then without the help of a cashier, you can actually scan yourself, the barcode and all those things right here, but it will still involve the manual scanning, right, of all the items that you want to bring up from the store, right? So that is the normal case, normal supermarket. But in the unmanned supermarket, what you can do here is that you can just grab and go. Okay, you can grab and go. So you want to let's say you want to bring this out from the store, you grab and go. That's all. You don't have to go through some scanning process, like you need to scan the barcode and then only then you can get the bill, and then you can go, only then you can go out from the store. No. Okay, because normally in this kind of unmanned supermarket, right, what they have is that they will have a lot of smart cameras, and they have a lot of sensor in different form, so that they can detect what are the things that you have grabbed. Okay, so they can detect. Okay, they can detect you are grabbing something. Okay, through the action analysis. Okay, they will combine different kind of AI technology behind their smart cameras, and then they can come to a conclusion what is this guy is doing here. All right, what are things that they have grabbed? Are they grabbing something else? All right, what kind of object they have this customer has grabbed, and so on, right? So they have a very, very powerful the AI application running at the back end, okay, behind the all those camera, all the sensor, right? So that's why after you go out from the supermarket, right, so the bill will automatically sent to you through your mobile phone. Okay, so normally nowadays for the supermarket nowadays, right, before you go into the store, you just need to scan the QR code. You just need to scan the QR code, and then you can just walk in, because the scanning process is to tell the supermarket who are you and where they should be. All right, you just need to scan the QR code, and then you go in and grab whatever things that you want to get, and then you go out from the store. That's all. Very simple, very straightforward. And then originally, right, so when the supermarket first started, it will be much more troublesome, because you cannot just simply scan the QR code, but you need to register yourself, right, under this. Let's say this supermarket is Amazon supermarket, and then you need to be the member of the Amazon supermarket first. Okay, you need to fill in like your name, your bank account, and so on. You need to fill in a lot of details to become the member first. Only then you can be a customer of this Amazon supermarket. But now, since we know everything is actually evolving, and then instead of having all this very troublesome procedure to become a member, now you just need to go and scan the QR code. That's all. Right? You don't have to build any membership before. Right? This is the very starting of the Amazon market, but now no. All right, so that is the Amazon market. So nowadays in China, I believe there's a lot of Amazon markets already there. Yeah, but in other countries, I believe like in Indonesia, I'm not sure whether we have any Amazon market or not. In Malaysia, I think no. Yeah. So but maybe in the future we'll have more and more Amazon market, because all these things will will get more common, right, in our daily life. So yeah, I believe later on we will get we'll have that in our countries. All right, yeah. So this is a very interesting the very interesting application of AI. Yeah. So maybe I can show you a video if you don't mind, because I know if I keep on talking, maybe you will feel a little bit bored. Okay, so just a sharing, because I actually have seen one video in the YouTube, okay, showing us there's one guy trying to go into the Amazon market, and he tried to steal something out from the Amazon market. Yeah, and then yeah, they'll try. This guy here tried a lot of different way to steal something up from the supermarket, and eventually at the end, actually he failed. Right. So maybe I can share you this video to let you have a have a look. Yeah. Just give me a few moments. Yeah, I'll try to look up. Okay. All right. So just a moment. Yeah. But unfortunately, this video is only available, I mean, in China, in Mandarin. Yeah. So I'm not sure whether, yeah. So actually, yeah. Maybe I can try to yeah, because this guy here, yeah, this is the guy, but he actually speaking in China, in Mandarin. So maybe just a very quick view about it first, and then yeah, I'll try to translate what he is trying to say to you. Okay, just a little little things right here. Yeah. Okay, so you can see from here. So this guy here, he is actually in China, in an airport of in China. All right, so he want to go into the supermarket, try to steal something up, and then before he steal, actually he actually get the permission from the store owner already. So you can see from here. So let me share the voice, share the sound for you. All right, so
我很好奇，在中国的文它是怎么样的，所以现在我方便，因为你就是要用微信。
that's what I meant just now, right? So when you want to go into the store, you just need to scan the QR code, all right? And then you can.
你就刷这个二维码。我们现在也要看看这里有没有很多摄像头，上面有很多，但是我觉得应该这里也有，应该也有一些。
Actually tracking the sensors, all those sensors in the rack, yeah.
在这里有办法偷东西吗？
你可以尝试一下，你就知道了。
有吧？
He's actually asking the boss whether the stealing can be success or not. Yeah. So the boss here tell this guy here, his name is actually Jerry. So he tell that he asked Jerry to actually try himself to try to steal something. You try and see whether you can success or not. Right. So yeah.
没办法，真的没办法。
我可以试一下。
And then the boss is telling this Jerry here, yeah, definitely you're not able to steal something up. Okay, definitely you'll get billed. Yes, so and you can try. Okay, you just try. Okay, the boss is just telling him to try. Okay.
Like you know，我可以吗？
对，你试一下啊。
我要喝这个，我很喜欢白砂锅。
Even the drinks that he drink in the store can be built as well, because you know, as I mentioned just now, right, at the back end of your smart camera there will be the action analysis application. Okay, there will be the action analysis engine running. So the engine can analyze, okay, you are consuming something from the store, right? So of course this can be also built to you.
这个我喝完了，这个我喝完了，这个我没喝。
One is this bottle has been finished by himself, and then this is the totally new one I'll never consumed before. So he want to put them together back into the rack, whether to see whether the camera can still detect it or not.
我们放它们在一起。他们有咖啡 ，Amazon 没有咖啡，所以看一看。 如果我没有带走，他会不会收我的钱？
Whether if let's say he drank and then he never bring it out, he never bring this cup out, whether they will still charge him or not, right? So he would like to try it. Okay.
我就把它放在这儿。我要把这个放在我的帽子。
Put it into the hat. Right.
这个很贵。哎，我知道我有好多朋友喜欢这个。我要那这个草莓，算了，我不要这个味道，我要另外一个味道。这个味。
So he's taking I mean the drinks from of different flavor. Yeah. So you want to see whether the camera can detect which flavor he has took.
味道。我拿个棉条看起来算好吃。我的身体里面已经有太多东西，所以我需要新的方法。我想一想，你们看看，我有新的方法。我们做这样，1、2、3。他出门之后跟 Amazon 差不多一样，我现在走，我现在去。
Because he actually tried to visit the Amazon supermarket before I think in America. So he tried to compare between the Amazon supermarket in the China and in the Amazon. So he is trying to compare.
我现在有我的订单，他的订单这么快的，有可能只10秒。
So he said that now, right, after he woke up from the Amazon market, just 10 minutes of time, 10 seconds of time, he got the bill already. Right, he got a bill already.
那 Amazon 我忘了，我当年应该
when he is visiting the Amazon in America, right? So the bill is only come to him after like 5 or 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, minutes. Yeah, we are talking about the minutes. But now in the China Amazon market, he actually get it just in 10 seconds of time. Right, he get his bill.
15分钟。那我们先看一看它对不对？我买了一个这个咖啡。
Right, so all the things that he had drank in the store, he has brought up from the store, all those flavor are all correct in the bill. Okay, recorded in the bill. So yeah, in conclusion, yeah, this guy here can never steal something out from the store. Yeah, all the items are charged, okay, in a bill. Yeah, so that is actually Amazon market. You can just grab and go. Okay, and then the bill can come to you just immediately. Okay, so that is a AI. Okay, that can be helped by the AI. Okay, so if you can implement all these things right here, even though we said the initial cost can be very high because you need to install a lot of smart cameras, all this can cost a lot, but yeah, eventually if you run it, if you calculate it in the long term, you can see that it can save a lot of costs. Like you don't have to hire the cashier and so on. So it is somehow can be a very can be a very good application as well, right, for the retail. Yeah. So of course another very popular application, right? So for the AI, yeah, is autonomous driving. Yeah. So autonomous driving car, we can see that actually the car from the SAE, from the Society of Automotive Engineer, that defines that the level of driving automation can be ranged from 0 to 5. So 0 means fully manual, and then 5 means fully autonomous. So there's a car with the level 5, there's car level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5. Right, so level 0 indicating that the driving of the vehicle completely depends on the driver's operation. Yeah, but the system above the level 3 can implement the driver's hands-off operation in specific case. Okay, maybe when you want to do some reverse parking, you can let your L3 car to do a reverse parking by themselves. You don't have to touch on the steering, and then, the car can go reverse parking by themselves, right, autonomously. Right, so that is one way. Right, so nowadays we still don't have any. We still don't have L5 cars in the. Fully autonomous car actually. Yeah, even though maybe on the road right here, you can actually see that at most we can have L3 car, right, and maybe some of the L4 vehicle. Yes, but they can only just drive on a certain track. they have a certain track for them. Okay, they cannot simply go here and there according to their according to your the driver's preference, right? They cannot do so, but they will have a certain track because they are not mature enough yet. All right, so but now L2, L3 will be the common one, okay, on the road. Okay, so for the autonomous car, actually we say it is still under development. And why we say autonomous car cannot be achieved in a short time, because when we want to get our car to be autonomous, of course, you need to make sure that your car can see. All right. So if your car can see, of course, if the car cannot see, how can you let the car to drive on the road autonomously, right? So we must make sure that the car can see. So how can we make sure that the car can see? Okay, there are actually two way. Okay, they have two major category of the autonomous driving car. One category is by having the smart camera. Okay, another is by the LiDAR radar sensor to be the eye of the car. Right, so we have these two categories here, but no matter you're using a smart camera or you're using the LiDAR or radar and all those sensor, their job is to collect the data, okay, that is showing the road condition. Right, so all this data will inform the car about the road condition. Right, and then of course this data that we are trying to collect will be a huge amount. Okay, so how to process this huge amount of data in a very, very short time so that this car can do the immediate response to a certain condition immediately without causing any accident, right? So that is the difficult part in the autonomous driving, to achieve the autonomous driving. Yeah, so yeah, there's a bottlenecks right there. All right, so of course not only just this bottleneck, but yeah, of course other issue as well. So we have different we are facing different kind of problems here before we can actually come up with a very stable autonomous driving vehicles and so on, because yeah, you need to make sure that immediate response must be able to be taken by this autonomous driving car. Right, so normally you can see that even if like human we are driving the car, we cannot guarantee that 100% safe, right? Because sometimes maybe maybe the condition is very dark in the middle of the night, and then you cannot see the things clearly, right? And then yeah, maybe somebody's crossing the road, but you cannot notice it because it's too dark already, and then yeah, there can be an accident. So same things go for the autonomous driving car. So because you are actually collecting the road condition using a camera, using a sensor. So sometimes when the condition is not favorable, like mentioned just now, the condition can be very dark or maybe heavy rain. So it can become an obstacle for the autonomous driving car to drive safely on the road as well. So we need to make sure that all these obstacles can be solved first, right? So that we can let this fully, the L5 or L4 autonomous driving car to be actually run on the common road, so that we won't we won't let this car here to like cause any accident on the road. All right, so yeah, to make sure that it can be a very stable vehicle, only then we can let it on the common road. But all these autonomous driving car, they're actually powered by the AI, because AI will be the one to process all those data and give instruction to the car whether they need to stop, whether they need to turn left, turn right, they need to slow down or not, right? All these instruction will be given by the AI, okay, because AI will do the processing, as I mentioned. Okay, so this will be one of the AI application fields, okay, for the autonomous driving. Okay, and yeah, so in short words, we'll say that AI can actually be implemented in all the industry, okay, including like your public sector, education sector, your healthcare, media, pharmacy, right? So logistics and so on, right? All these are the industry that can benefit from the AI implementation, right? So AI will change our industry. Okay, and then yeah, we can actually classify the development of AI into 3 phases right here. You can see from here, right? So AI development, yeah. So we are talking about the development here, not the type of AI and so on, but the development of AI. Yeah, we can classify them into 2 phases. So initially, we are in the computing intelligence. Okay, where we first started our AI. So the AI can be used for the storage and computing. Okay, because machine can compute and transfer the information as human beings do, and then it can process it faster. It can help human to process a lot of data in a shorter time. Right, so that is the very initial step of the, the benefit can be bring by the AI in the, the very initial AI. Right, and then when time goes on, right, so we come to the second phase right here, which is the perceptual intelligence. So in this phase, AI has been developed into another phase, which is the perceptual intelligence phase, where the AI in this stage here is capable to listen and see. Okay, at the very initial step right here, AI is still not able to see and to listen, but now in the second phase, yeah, AI can start to listen. They have the capability to listen, they have the capability to see. And from what they listen, from what they see, yeah, they can make judgment. They can take simple action, just like the AlphaGo, the Watson, right? All these robots, they are having the capability to see, right? And then they can process what they have seen, right? And then they can make the judgment. They can take simple action, right? So that is the AI in the second phase. Okay, and the third phase here will be the cognitive intelligence, where the machine can understand, they can think and make decisions like human beings. Right. So as in now, right, we are actually still a lot of our applications are still fall in this category. Okay, I still have the capability of this this phase right here. Okay, perceptual intelligence right here. Okay, but we still we also have some of the applications have reached this phase. Okay, but most of it will be still in the perceptual intelligence phase. Okay, including like your facial recognition application and so on, right? So all these are still under the perceptual intelligence phase. Yeah. So these are the 3 phases of AI development, and that will be the second part of this AI review. Yeah. So this packet we will skip. Okay, as I mentioned, we will keep it in the in the 5th week or 4th week, I think. Yeah, so we will keep it until then. And now we just look into the AI dispute first. Yeah, AI dispute. So what are the arguments? Right? What are the arguments with the AI? Okay, we will look into it now. Right, so with the AI dispute right here, you can see, so the very first dispute will be the algorithmic bias. Okay, algorithmic bias. So remember, for the model for your application, right, how can your application process all the data? Okay, actually is the algorithm that can process the data, because different data need to be processed in different way. Okay, how you can make sure that your model, your data can be processed in different way? You use different algorithm. All right, because the algorithm will decide how can this data be processed. Okay, so algorithm is very important. So if you have a biased algorithm, what will happen? Okay, if you have a biased algorithm, yeah, so you will see that you will have the unfair outcome. Okay, because what kind of outcome can be produced? It will depend on how well is your algorithm. If your algorithm is not good, then of course your outcome can be bad as well. Right, so that's why just now I always mention that, yeah, if you want to get a good model, good algorithm, you must train it with a good data. Okay, you must train it with a good data. But if you train it with the biased data, then your algorithm will also be biased, and then your outcome will be also biased. So that is the concern right here. Okay, so over here just some example of the biased outcome. Okay, so if let's say you take into the you have a look into this example right here, online advertisers tend to display advertisement of lower price goods to the female user. Okay, lower price goods to the female user. So this is the keywords right here. Right, so this algorithm, because nowadays, right, when you run for some online shopping platform, let's say you want to advertise your product. So you will use the AI algorithm to help you to recommend some product to your customer. Just like us, when we go to the Shopee, when we go to Lazada, right? You can see that the Lazada or the Shopee, they will introduce you some of the product that you might like. Okay, how they can recommend all this product to you? Okay, they are actually based on your searching history, what you have searched. Okay, what you have searched, they will based on this information here to recommend you some product. Okay, but if let's say now here, okay, the algorithm that you use to introduce your customer about some products here, you use a bias model. Okay, the algorithm is biased. So the bias algorithm will always relate female user to the lower price good. Okay, so the algorithm will only show the female user. Whenever they see there's a female user, they will just show them some very cheap product. Right. So what will happen then is that if you are the owner of the shopping platform, you will lose your potential customer. Okay, because we know not all the female user tends to go for the lower price good, because maybe some of the female user, they don't care about the price, right? Maybe they don't care about the price, that they just want to have the quality product. They don't even care about the price. They just want to get whatever they want. So price is not their is not their priority. So you can see this kind of female user can can never see the, unless they go and search. If not, then maybe they cannot see the product that they want in your platform. So what they will do is that they will go to another platform. Okay, they will go to another platform, another shopping platform, which always show them the product that they would like. Right, so the user will go to another platform. So you, as the owner of this online platform, all right, you will lose the customer. Yeah, so that is the outcome of having the bias algorithm. Right, so that is very important, because other than this as well, right? So if you go for another example right here, you can see sometimes it's not only just you will lose your customer if you are not the online shopping platform owner, right? Maybe you are dealing with some other scenario. So the unfair outcome can be discriminative. Okay, can be discriminative, like maybe they are the result can be racist and so on. So this is very bad. Okay, this is very poor. This is very not good, not a good outcome that you want to see. So you need to make sure that you don't want to have a biased algorithm. So what you can do with this issue right here, you need to make sure the data that you use is good enough. Yeah, so that is an only method for this. This is the only solution for this kind of dispute right here. Okay, because always remember, algorithm is trained by the data. Okay, the data must be, that's why we say the data that you collect must be must be enough in the volume. Because if you just use a little bit of the data to train your model, then this a little bit of data, this small amount of data, may not represent the whole idea about your about the distribution, about the problems that you want to solve, that you want to look into. That may not represent the whole idea. So that's why we need to get enough data to represent the whole idea about the data distribution, about your data, about the things that you want to investigate. Only then, this model can learn can learn thoroughly. Again, not just learning a little bit, a small part of the problems, but you need to understand the whole things right here. Okay, or maybe just for example, in another case, right? If let's say you want to build a model to recognize some cat, okay, animal, okay, cat, let's say cat, right? So you want this model to be able to recognize a cat, but we know for the animal, it has a lot of different species, right? So cat can be pussycat, can be this can be another species as well, because different species of a cat, they can have different feature, right? So if let's say you are just collecting a little amount of the cat image, right? Maybe this you are just collecting it from the species A, but we know we have a species A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and we have a lot of different species, but you just collect it just a little bit on maybe species A and B, but you know, species A and B cannot represent the whole idea about the, the cat, the cat animals right here, maybe, yeah. So that is what we meant here. So you need to make sure that the data that you collect can represent the whole, the whole data distribution. Okay, yeah. So to make sure that your model is not biased, your model is fair enough, your model is good enough, right? So data plays a very, very important role right here. Okay, and the second dispute here you can see, okay, which is the privacy issue. Okay, because you know, right? So all the existing AI algorithms are all data driven. They are all trained by using the data. So we need a large amount of data to train the model. So we enjoy the convenience brought by the AI every day, while the technology companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, Alibaba, they are obtaining a lot of our user data. Okay, when you try to register yourself in the Facebook, in the Google, right? Of course, they know about your name, your email, your address, your phone number, where you live, and so on. So all these are the user information that they can collect, and they can use this information to train the AI model. Right, so that's why we say we will have a privacy issue right here, because for some people they don't want anyone to like use their their user their private information to do other things. Right, they don't want. Okay, so of course we also we don't want as well. Right, we don't want anyone to like simply use our information to do AI training. Yeah, so that is a privacy issue right here. And then you know, when you go into the Facebook or some Google, Amazon, all this platform, right? Actually, the things that you browse, okay, the action, every action on this platform here can be recorded down. Okay, can be recorded down. So like over here, you can see, in principle, technology companies can record every click of you, each page you scroll, time of viewing any content, and browsing history when the user accesses the internet. So all this can be collected. Okay, and all this can be act as a data where they can use to train the model. So that's why, right, they can obtain our privacy information, like what we have done, education background, our consumption capability, and our personal preference. Right, so all these can be collected by the technology company, right, and be used for another purpose. So that will be a concern for the privacy issue, right? And later on, right, so of course this will be definitely, totally, because nowadays, can we still say that seeing equals to believing? Right, so I will say, if you ask 100%, I will say this 100% will give out the same answer as well. Okay, the answer will be no. Yeah, so when you look into the advertisement, okay, nowadays people are trying to be not believe, okay, into what they have seen in the advertisement. If let's say you are looking at the advertisement of they're advertising their diet pill. Okay, just like in the second example right here. Okay, they're advertising their diet pills. Okay, the peoples in the advertisement appears to be so pretty. Okay, they are so slim. But you know, this kind of the appearance can actually be changed with the Photoshop technology. Okay, nowadays everyone can use a Photoshop, right? You just try to learn it from the YouTube, and then you try to learn it from somebody else. You can actually use this Photoshop application very easily, and then you can change your photo. You can modify your photo. You can, you know, even we are using Instagram or some beauty camera. We can make our face very slim, like a V shape. We can enlarge our eyes. We can make our skin fairer. Right? If we want to make our skin darker, also can. Right? So we can do all this processing very simple, in a very simple way. So that's why we say nowadays, no matter you are watching a video or image, we cannot simply believe that this is a true video or true image, and so on. Right? So because fake image can be produced with technology very easily. right? Especially nowadays, we even have one very powerful neural networks called as a generative adversarial network, GAN. So this network here is very powerful because it can produce it can generate some new image and some new video from the, I mean, you just feed some random image to this neural network, and then it can generate something totally new for you. Okay, it can generate something totally new for you. So that is very scary, and yeah, that's very powerful. So if you notice before, we have a deepfake video where, you know, in the video itself, someone is speaking. Okay, someone is speaking. Maybe, for example, Pak Randa is speaking. But you know, right, we can manipulate, and let's say in this video is Pak Randa speaking, but actually we know as the generator of this video, okay, maybe we can use Pak Randa as a figure in a video, but actually the content spoken by this figure in this video is not actually spoken by Pak Randa. Okay, maybe somebody else is doing the speaking, but appear in the video is Pak Randa. Right? We can actually generate this kind of video out and then to fool people. So that's why we say, okay, suspect can actually easily provide a fact evidence by forging the image in which the suspect is in a place, okay, where he has never been to. Okay, so this kind of fact, I mean, items can actually be produced very easily. Okay, even if you want to modify your voice, also can. Yes, so not only subjected to the image or the video, but also your voice. Right, so we will no longer say seeing will be equals to believe. It's not equal. Yeah. So of course, for you as well, you need to be careful. So if you see something on the internet that you find very attractive, very pretty, right, very good, maybe that is not true. So you need to be careful about what you have seen. Right. So yeah, make sure that you never get fooled, yeah, by all this fake fake image, fake video, and so on. Yeah. So that will be the dispute right here. Right, and yeah, of course, this is the very important issue right here, because yeah, some people believe that when you develop the AI, it will be equals to rising of unemployment. So I would say in a certain point of view, yes, because you can see from here, some of the job that is repetitive, right? So the repetitive job that involve a little creativity and social interaction are all those kind of the job that will be most likely to be replaced by the AI, like the courier, like taxi driver, because later on we're going to have the autonomous driving, right? So if the autonomous driving is mature enough, then how come we need to have why we need to hire a taxi driver, let's say. Yeah, so this is one of the job that can be replaced. Yeah, and the soldier, accounting, right, telesales personnel, right, all these other job that is repetitive and involve a little creativity and social interaction. But for those jobs that is most unlikely to be replaced by the AI, like the writer, because writer require a lot of creativity. Okay, nowadays AI, and I'll say the creativity of AI is still limited. Yeah, so they're still limited. So so that's why we say writer, this kind of job that will involve a lot of creativity can still cannot be we cannot rely on the AI yet. Yeah, and then of course, like the management personnel involve a lot of social interaction. You need to like deal with 2 person or 3 person or a group of persons, right? So you need to manage your maybe employees and so on, right? So it will involve a lot of social interaction. Software engineer, right, creativity and so on, right? So all these jobs that will involve a lot of creativity and social interaction are those jobs that is not unlikely, okay, most unlikely to be replaced by AI. Right, but in my point of view, right, if let's say AI development is actually getting more and more matured, I would say maybe in the future we'll have new kind of job emerge. So that's why just now I say it is not totally true that AI development is equals to rising unemployment, because who knows? Okay, in the future we might have a new kind of a job coming up, because you know before this maybe 10 years before, we can never think of we can have a Grab driver, we can have the Uber driver, we can have a Grab food and so on. So this is kind of like the new job emerge, okay, due to the technology evolution, right? So that's why we say, yeah, maybe in the future we can have a new kind of a job. So yeah, don't be scared first. All right. So yeah, that will be another that will be my opinion. Yeah. So that will be the case right here. Okay. So and for remember just now that I did mention for strong AI, right? So we still need to solve some problems first, because yeah, so if let's say we want to make an AI that can create some drawing, some painting, right, some artwork, okay, can this work created by the AI protected by copyright laws or not? That is one concern right here, because we don't know whether if somebody try to copy the works from the AI, is it violating the law or not? Right. So yeah, that is a issue to be to be discussed. Yeah. And then who gives the authorities to the robot? What right shall be authorized to the robot? Right. So all this need to be need to be discussed and need to come up with a solution first. Yeah. And lastly will be the future prospect of AI. All right. Future prospect of AI. So the development trends of AI can be classified into these 5 categories. Right. So in the future, if let's say we want to improve AI technology, so we can improve it from framework aspect, from the aspect of algorithm, from the aspect of computing power, and from the aspect of data and scenario. So all these are the very important direction for the AI technology development. So for the framework, because later on you will see that we're going to use some framework to develop our AI model. Right. So of course, in the future, we want to have this framework here to be more and more easy to use, so that we can involve more people to come and use the framework to come up with some very useful AI application that can benefit everyone. Because if let's say the framework is not user friendly, so only certain people with a certain knowledge can use this framework to develop the AI application. Okay, sometimes maybe some of the people, they have a great idea. Right, they have a great idea, but they don't have the skill to use the framework. Then, yeah, that will be a loss then. Right? So we need to make sure that the framework can be easier to use, so that yeah, more and more people can involve themselves and come up with some very, very useful the application that can benefit everyone. Yeah, so that's one trend. And from the aspect of algorithm, so algorithm model with better performance and smaller size. Why we say so? Okay, because normally you will see that algorithm, right? If you have a very high performance algorithm, normally you will see that the algorithm size is very big. Okay, so a very good models, normally their size is quite big, and then yeah, they can give a very good result, but there will be some downside as well, because it will have a very big model. So you know the computing power required, and then the time processing can be also increased. Okay, of course, your cost as well will be increasing. So in the future, we're trying to see whether we can have a good algorithm, a good model, but we're trying to shrink down the size of it. Okay, make it into a smaller model, so that we can have a greater running efficiency, get save cost, right? So that is the future, the future thing that we want to do, right? And then computing power, right? So we want to make sure that the computing power can be obtained easily, and then data, because yeah, if we want to get more and more data, so we want to make sure that we can get more data, and then we can have a data sharing with other companies or with other user, right? So we can get more data to train our model, right? Because sometimes if you want to train a model, but you don't have any data anymore, so how can you do, right? So yeah, the way that you can collect data, you already use up all the data, and then yeah, you don't have new data to train a new model, new application. So yeah, you need to get data from someone else, right? So that's why we can have a data sharing platform to allow the data sharing among different application developers and so on, so that we can get more data to train the model. And lastly will be the scenario here. Okay, we want to see we will have the continuous breakthrough in the industrial application. Okay, we want to see more, we can use this AI in more and more industrial application to help out with all the scenario. because the breakthrough here is like in the 10 years before this, okay, before this year, or maybe 20 years ago, we can never think of we can use AI to help with the agriculture. Yeah, but nowadays, yes, okay, we can use AI with the to help out with the agriculture. So this is what we call the breakthrough, okay, the scenario breakthrough. So that's why in the future we want to see AI to be used in more and more application scenario. Right, so of course we come up with a appropriate algorithm that can be used in that scenario. Of course, then yeah, we can have a scenario breakthrough. Right, so these are the 5 development trends of AI technology. All right, so that will be the end for this for the AI overview. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so hopefully so for those who has posted your question in the chat box, right, so don't worry, you can post it. If let's say you haven't get the answer yet, yeah, so maybe you just wait for a little more. So yeah, our team will respond to you as soon as possible. Right, so but now is already 11:30, yeah, in your time. So I think yeah, we will end now. This is the end for the AI overview part, and then yeah, maybe you need to have your lunch break now, right? All right, so you can have your lunch break now, or Rena, are you good? Is somebody let's see, yeah, just one moment. Tita, are you going to brief the participants about anything?
Yes. First of all, thank you, Miss Gabby, for the insights and wonderful classes, and thank you, Bu Yuni, and also Pak Randa. Yes, unfortunately, we have reached 11:30 here in Indonesian time. I have seen that our participants have asked some questions in the question and answer box, Miss Gabby, but then your team has also answered several questions there. Meanwhile, like you said, the rest of the questions, I think still our participants have not got the answers, but again, the Huawei team will work on that, right, Miss Gabby, so that we can extend our tutors. Dea and Isna will send it to our participants. And I think it's time for us to have break before the second sessions, right, Miss Gabby? Yes. So teman-teman, terima kasih sekali sudah hadir di sesi pertama bersama Huawei di pagi hari ini. Seperti yang tadi sudah dijelaskan oleh Ibu Gabby, bahwa nanti juga akan ada sesi bersama Huawei nanti siang, begitu jam 1. Tapi sekarang kita akan break dulu nih. Jadi I think we can close our class, right, Miss Gabby? And
yes.
Okay, teman-teman. See you in a bit, Miss Gabby, Pak Randa, and also Bu Yuni. We will see you at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, I think. Okay, thank you. Selamat siang, teman-teman semuanya. Thank you, everyone. We will see you in a bit.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tita.
Thank you, Miss Gabby.